Well, welcome, YouTube. Welcome to the KNOE. Yes, for those who don't know, KNOE is a news station created by me, Khan. And on the show, we basically shoot the shit, as the title says, with various guests. And my guest today is none other than my P3 brother from another mother, Mr. Two Beers. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me on. Hey guys, how's it going?
Well, hopefully everything is going well. This show is a little bit different than the stuff we used to do. You know, with the 3P, P3 stuff, we were more organized. We had topics to talk about. And
is actual research.
Yes, definitely actual research. But as the title, for those who don't know, the KNOE stands for Know Nothing, Opinion on Everything. So guess what? Here on the Shoot the Shit, we're going to shoot the shit and give our opinions on various things. And if we're wrong, so be it. We're wrong, but we're still going to give our opinion on it, whether we know something on it or not. Right?
Pretty much.
So let's first go through and hit the first elephant in the room, because I'm sure if anybody who listens to this might have been former listeners to maybe one of our old podcasts. I want to let you know, P3 is not dead, is not gone. The band hasn't broken up. It's just that we got to find time. This is basically to get together and to do these type of things. We got two of the three members, of course, GNS being the third. Always, anytime. Come on this show. We could get together again and do P3 anytime. It's just, scheduling. Bit of a rough... Go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just said word. Just agreeing with you.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rough schedule thing for me. I know I got sick later on, and then I had issues with my grandmother being sick. She unfortunately did pass away later on this year. Was a sad time. Still getting over it, but that's part of life. So a lot of things, outside things delayed. I'm not taking all the blame for it, but
Yeah, we were all going through some crazy stuff at that time.
Yeah, so
it's like one thing after another.
Yes. So GNS, if you're listening, definitely hit me up. Probably on Twitter, because I guess Discord annoyed you with all those prompts. Trust me, I know it could be very annoying. But definitely hit me up, hit Two Beers up if you're more comfortable with that, because you guys grew up and all, and he has probably all your information. Where me was just mainly Discord and Twitter. But either way, hit us up, let us know when you're free. Come on, shoot the shit, or you know what? Let's get 3P back up. And let's get it running. But aside from that, man, how do you feel, man?
I'm feeling not too bad. Getting over a cold, but can't complain. Feeling real good.
Good, man. Oh my gosh, that's my alarm, because typically around this time, usually, I'm getting ready to stream. But this week was a holiday week. We streamed early, day before Thanksgiving. Yes, this is coming after Thanksgiving, even though the video may not be available until about Monday. But so that's good to hear. Anything new in your life?
Not much. Still grinding, still trying to make things happen. Trying to actually navigate through this cesspool of morons and ignorance, and trying to be the better person about it.
Gotcha.
Basically, I can say in a way I'm trying to return to the Henry that I was, like, back in my college days. The guy who actually wanted to talk it out and make peace with everything, instead of this kind of like a guy who wants to like kick people's face in that I have become now.
Well, as the title says, know nothing, opinion on everything. These type of people, which is pretty much the internet now. Let's face it, if you're listening, you're probably most likely one of them. You're pieces of shit. Not to say that everybody's pieces of shit, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of you. There's enough of you, who get online and, always just wants to run your mouth, Anonymity makes men out of a lot of people,
Yep. Just wake up in the morning grabbing your nipples. can't wait to type some bullshit into the comment section of a video, or harass some woman online or some little kid just sitting up there jizzing all over that shit. Can't wait to do it. We know who you are.
Yeah, you definitely know who you are, man. And you know what? If you wanna listen to the video, start crying, and type nasty comments, sure, go ahead. We need the YouTube views, so be sure, go ahead, do it. We accept all comments, good or bad. And don't worry, if you do send us some pretty shitty comments, which I think a lot of you are up to the challenge we're doing, we'll clap back. We got plenty of time in the world. We have no problems with that.
Yep.
We're men. We could take it.
Pretty tough. We could take it.
Yeah, we could take it. And if you want
I don't think you might not be able to take the things that we say back at you, but we're pretty seasoned with this sort of stuff.
Yeah. We've been around the world. We've been around for many years. I'm not saying we're old, but you know, we're veterans.
Yeah.
So talk about other shitty stuff that's been happening in this world, man. Kid Rock, man. What is up with your boy Kid Rock, man?
My boy.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I come on the internet, man.
I don't know, like, I started seeing when he like started showing up with in the Trump pictures and all that sort of shit, and then when he started saying stuff about like Beyonce and stuff like that, I'm just like, okay, maybe he's just going through the motions, because it's like some of the people on the activist side started attacking him and calling him culture vulture.
Gotcha.
Like stuff like that, and I think he maybe took that the wrong way. He went completely anti black instead of just like against the people who actually were coming at him and attacking him for it. Yeah. Who was the internet? They probably weren't even black, the people who were saying it to him. But whatever the case, like that's where I think it probably his descent into whatever the hell he's turned into now started. Like he's one of those people that he doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So like I don't even get mad whenever like some stuff pops up that he said some more stupid shit. It's just what I expect out of him now.
Yeah, he so evidently TMZ, wonderful TMZ, wound up getting a video from him in a drunken stupor, basically stating that he was at a honky tonk rock and roll steakhouse in Nashville, and he's yelling into the microphone, "Fuck Oprah." Oprah Winfrey is like, "Hey, I want women to believe in this shit. Fuck her. She can suck a dick sideways." And then he goes off to say, "I'm not a bad guy. I'm just an honest guy," saying, "I don't like Oprah or Joy Behar." So he's attacking now Joy Behar of The View for whatever. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he still running for like office or something like that?
Maybe.
Wasn't he trying to get a seat at one point in time?
Probably. I have no clue. I don't follow Kid Rock, man. I don't, man. He doesn't. He's just gonna own it. He's gonna take it. He's gonna own it and run with it. But I don't get it, man. I guess this is the new end. I don't know whether you want to thank our president for allowing this ignorance, because you know a lot of these cockroaches, they were hiding behind Twitter. You know, kept their mouth shut. They didn't say anything. But now that you know you got somebody in office who gives zero fucks, and let's be honest, folks, he doesn't care about you. He only cares about himself. But you know, if you want to take him on as a champion, sure, go ahead. He is the president of the United States. But you know, they come out and they live in their best life of racism, sexism, whatever you want to put into it, you know. And it's just, I don't know, man. I know there's this cancel culture. You know, let's just get these fuckers out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's like no reason
this
for
isn't
it,
even.
man.
To all you like people who love yelling snowflake and dumb shit like that, or libtards and like owning the libs, this ain't even a right or left thing. Like as much as I hate you motherfuckers, we're thinking about you as well. Like this motherfucker's driving this whole thing into the ground. Like your love of saying racial slurs and thinking that brown and black people are the worst thing to ever exist on the world, and that women should be barefoot in the kitchen cooking dinners and popping out babies and shit. That's not you. You're not getting any of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like these dudes are steady turning us into a third world country. Like they'll be happy when you're working at the actual federal minimum wage of $7 and or is it $7 or $9 now? The actual real federal. Well, whatever it is, they'll be happy if you're all working under that low amount of money, making jack shit. You're talking about like 2 paychecks and not being able to pay your bills. Try 3. You sit up there and like you can actually see that the actual life expectancy of the U.S. citizen is going down every year now. A lot of us are dying broke. A lot of us can't pay our healthcare bills when we have healthcare issues. And I'm like, what are you getting out of this? I don't know. Is saying the N word, is it really that sweet?
I guess.
No, I'm serious. To drive yourself into the ground. I mean, like will you vote for Bernie if I say you can call me the N word? I mean, I want to know.
That's a lot of times, man. That's all they got, man. That's all they got. That's the only way they get a rise out of it, right? And then when you whip their ass or put them in the floor, then they want to cry foul. Then they want to call the police. Then they want you in jail. Then you're an animal and all this shit. But whatever they want to do to get a rise of you is okay until then. I say equal. You gotta understand, freedom of speech protects you from government, not from other people kicking your ass, right? So you can have freedom of speech, you can say whatever you want to say, but understand there's a penalty that comes with it. And if that means me curb stomping you in the fucking ground, then that's what it means. Y'all need to go back and read, and you understand that, freedom of speech doesn't mean I don't knock your teeth out if you want to say some shit towards me.
Oh yeah, and also freedom of speech protects you from the government. Well, yep. Maybe not too long in the future with this government, because
oh god,
this dude, he's oof. But yeah, freedom of speech protects you from the government. It does not protect you at your job.
Nope.
It does not protect you at your place of employment. It does not protect you on social media under a business that somebody else's own. That somebody else owns. Like, please just stop it.
I know. I don't get it. So let's for the idiots who don't know, let us read. Let's read what the First Amendment of the Constitution is, which was revised back in 1992. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or of press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Nowhere does it say that I need to honor what you say.
Right?
People need to stop. Oh, freedom of speech, my First Amendment. No, you need to read it and understand what the fuck it allows you.
I mean, well, let's humor this. Go into your job tomorrow and curse your boss out.
Yeah. See what it gets.
Yeah. And it be like my freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You can't.
Freedom of unemployment.
Or better yet, walk into a police station and cuss out on officers. Let that freedom of speech protect you. Like, come on, dog. Prove me wrong.
Oh my god. And let's not also forget another I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say this piece of shit with comments. Mr. Judge Joe Brown. Let's get on this motherfucker for a minute, right? And this Harriet Tubman thing, because we'll get into this whole we'll talk about afterwards, fucking Julia Roberts playing fucking Harriet Tubman. We'll get into that in a second. But let's get on to this. Mr. Judge Joe Brown. I don't know if it's TV. Does this TV show still come on? I'm not even sure.
No.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay, so this man is probably retired, living with his, 26-year-old wife, as some of our friends would say, living his best life. So this guy got upset because he had a debate with our one of our favorite personalities, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Oh boy!
And they were talking about how Obama's administration was trying to replace Andrew Jackson's face on the $20 bill with Harriet Tubman's, and he was upset with this. He looked at it as basically as a feminist movement, and and he's had many comments to say. Like after his horrible comments, he went on Twitter to say, I respect black women immensely. I'm prepared to die for them. However, our race has been kept in line by the suppression of its men. A protocol of slavery was to always recognize and to promote female and disparage the male. The Lady Bill thing is a continuation of this tactic. And then he goes, I see sissy boys trying to set me out for being an unrepentant man. I find it fascinating that they've been so effectively turned into pussies by femme propaganda and ideate like their XX. I don't get that one, but I guess that's chromosome. I don't know. XX, I have no clue. Manhood isn't dead. It's time all men reasserted themselves and stopped the rot of families. I'm ready to challenge the breakfast food, which is, of course, he's going at the Breakfast Club, jelly-filled Pop-Tarts to have it out one-on-one, or me versus the lightweight sissy asses at the same time. My show on Fridays, if they have the cojones, bring it on.
So you're like a full-blown minimalist now?
Yeah.
That it?
Yeah.
Like he drunk all the Kool-Aid, huh?
Yeah. All right, so yeah, they say so they can't get a white woman, so they want a black woman. They don't care. They just want a woman, and it downs masculinity, right? Okay, so I'll let you take part of this history. There is truth to somewhat of what he says, right? Effeminating men, the black male. That's something that we do see, right? From back to slavery, cutting off balls, and all kinds of things. So, outside of his ignorance, there is some truth to what he's saying, right? So I'll let you go ahead and say, but dude, it's 2019. Go ahead, man. I'll let you take this one.
I don't have much. Like I was like he's become like such a, like I said, like I don't even like you don't really know how heated I get on certain topics when it comes to like race and stuff like that. But it's like I don't know. For some reason I kind of feel like pity for this guy, and I don't mean pity like it's more like it's just like pathetic watching him. Like he just says like shit that makes it's like a child crying out for attention kind of in a way.
Yep.
Like I don't get any of it. It's like you're pushing this minimalist shit down, but aren't you the same guy who kept going back to Pamela no matter how many times she cheated on you with Tommy? Like fucking somebody else at the same time she was fucking you.
Damn.
Like that. I mean, I'm sorry for somebody who's pushing this whole like pro man, power man shit. Like I don't really get that from your history. So I don't know where any of this is coming from. Like I don't know if you're just trying to get some of that like grifter conservative money, because I would assume that through royalties and through your catalog that you still eat pretty well. I don't know if one of those things where you got your heart broken too many times, and just like a lot of the these moist bitch ass crybabies that we have to deal with online every day, if you just turned into one of them. Because like, come on, dog, you don't really want to go on the Breakfast Club. Toby Charlemagne wouldn't eat this guy alive in like the first 10 minutes of the interview.
I know.
It's like, come on, man, come on.
Well,
but yeah, I don't even really have much to say on it, dog.
A lot of people are calling him a hotep, which is possible. It's definitely possible the way he's talking. So he one of the things he's also stated was the status of ethnic group is determined by its men, not its women, and putting a black woman on there before a black man is assaulting to the black race because you're saying that men ain't worth a damn when you put a woman up there first.
Kid Rock said that also?
No, this is coming from Judge Joe Brown.
Oh, okay. I was like, isn't that the Judge Joe Brown stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what?
Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of history. You know, we started off with my grandmother, and I want to give a little bit of history. You know the song, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Yeah, that was my grandfather who passed away last year. My grandmother, strong black woman, had to raise 2 kids by herself while her husband went off and went to go marry 7 other women and have babies all across, America, because that's what the type of person he was. And you could tell me about women and men being stronger and so forth, but let's be honest, man. There's a lot of women that, 1, have children, and 2, have to raise them on their own. And guess what? They're not weak. Now, don't get me wrong. There's always exceptions to the rules. There's a whole bunch of pieces of shit mothers out there. But in for most of the cases, for a lot of stuff, women are they gotta take the brunt of a lot of shit. And let's look at this. First off, women, and this is no SJW, this is just me telling you facts of shit I've observed. Women are second-rate citizens in this, especially in this country and in many countries. You can even look at Japan, where they're forced. There was an article that came out that actually talked about how they're forced to wear glasses. Excuse me. They are or they're not. It's either they are or they're not allowed to wear glasses. It's just stupid shit, man. Right? So across the world, we see how women are being objectified and put at a lower rate. And let's be honest, if you're a black woman, it's even worse. It's even worse, dude. Yeah, come on, man. We as brothers, man, we don't need to be shitting on our queens like this, man. We don't. As a black race, we're strong together. It doesn't matter if you're men or women. If I got a first black female president over a first black male president, it wouldn't matter, because guess what? I saw a first black president. It didn't matter whether it was Barack or if it was Michelle. It wouldn't fucking matter to me, because guess what? I saw the first black president. I don't care if it's man or female. I care about our culture, our ethnicity. Fuck this shit, man, about sex. Get the fuck out of here, man. Fuck, cancel culture. Fuck you, Judge Joe Brown. Man, get the fuck out of here with that stupid bullshit, man. Your old ideologies is what's wrong with this fucking world. And no, it doesn't make this fucking country strong. It make it weak. It makes it fucking strong. Because we need to get past these old fucking ideologies. I'm tired of it, man. We need to start getting past this shit so I can get my fucking Star Trek future where communism is the fucking
right?
thing. We're all in space working for the fucking military. But guess what? We're all together. We're all mixed. We're interbreeding with aliens, people of different ethnicities. It doesn't fucking matter. And guess what? We're all fucking happy, and we're working towards a single goal of uniting the world under one fucking corporate umbrella. Notice how I didn't say government, I said corporate.
It's not the best choice.
It's Spacer's choice. So, man, anything you want to say on this motherfucker before we go into this, the Julia Roberts shit, man?
I think he's fucking tweaking. It's like the disrespect to have somebody that saved so many people of our race that may have even saved somebody in your bloodline, like that may have affected you actually being born. You don't know this.
Yes.
Or maybe he does. Maybe he traces his bloodline back that far. But just to be that disrespectful, like, who the fuck cares? Like, you basically just covered all, like, you covered everything I would have said about this guy. It's medieval thinking. It's beyond stupid. And I'm on that same Gene Roddenberry shit. Like, imagine us going into space and meeting a civilized race, and we talking some dumb shit about women below men. You do a disservice to your culture.
Yeah, you all this shit, man. You're like, no, man, I can't be taking Captain Stat. I can't be taking orders from a woman. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Aliens says, man, get the fuck out of here with that old ideology. Man, get the fuck out of here with that old ideology. Man, that shit's gotta go, man.
Aliens gonna be looking at you like trash.
Exactly.
That's why we never came to Earth in the first place.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
But speaking of Harriet Tubman, right? So Entertainment Weekly put out an interesting article. We'll make sure we'll copy it and put it into the comments, and we'll put it up right now for you, the link, but the link down in the comments too. So unfortunately, oh my goodness. So they were talking to Gregory Allen, right, who was one of the screenwriters for the and the producer for the Harriet movie that just came out. and and he was basically told in the actual meeting, and this is a quote, "I was told that one of the studio heads said in the meeting, the script is fantastic. Let's get Julia Roberts to play Harriet Tubman. Alan then explained when someone pointed out that Roberts couldn't be Harriet, the executive producer says, it was so long ago, no one's going to know the difference." What fucking bullshit is this, man? Now there's this idea that people have of what they call white saviors, and this is something that we see in Hollywood. And the idea is that there's behind most black stories, you know, there's always a white person who helped them to get to that point, right? What's the football one? The Baltimore Ravens player.
I forgot, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness, I can't even think about it. But supposedly how the mom, you know, a lot of people, if evidently he was upset with the movie. I don't know why, but you know, you have that, and then there's a lot of other examples I guess I could go to if you want me to. I'll run down the list at a later time in the comments if you want me to. But basically, anytime you have like a big historical event, there was always like this one person who happens to be Caucasian who helped you, either gave you the idea or opened the door to allow you to get free to go do all your stuff. And it's this idea in Hollywood of this white savior complex. And I want to say that this would be it in case, but come on, man. We've already whitewashed freaking all the Egyptians, with Cleopatra being white in almost every incarnation. We whitewashed almost like all of the 10 Commandments. I mean, come on, dude. This is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand. Yeah, and Charlton Heston. Yes, thank you.
The only Moses I know. Shit.
And I know the argument always will be, well, it's acting, right? So as an actor, race shouldn't matter. You could play any role you want. You guys are crying about Michael B. Jordan. You know, you guys want Michael B. Jordan to be Superman, but you know, you did Hamilton to play, and it's all African Americans, and Hamilton is white. So I don't understand what the issue is. And you guys keep going around and changing the ethnicities of every freaking comic book character that comes out all the time. Like, you want to make Batman black, you want to make Batman a woman, you want to make this and that. So this is the argument that you come, but come on, folks. This is Harriet Tubman. This is a story about a woman who was freeing black slaves and getting them out of the South to the North for safety. You know? I mean, come to...
Yeah.
Oh, I think you can yell that, sir. So we'll let him go off as he gets yelled at in the background. But it makes no sense, man. Like just people think about this from this standpoint. You have a woman, African American woman, who was a slave, who's shepherding people from the South to the North via the Underground Railroad to free slaves. And you want her to be played by Julia Roberts. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of Caucasians in that time frame that helped to make this possible, right? You're not going to be able to move slaves in and out without having, you know, allies, white allies, on both sides, whether it's down the South or up north, right? So there's plenty of people, Caucasian people, white people, whatever you want to consider yourself, that could help us in that movie and still look good, right? So you have heroes on both sides. So why would you take the main character and turn her white?
It just goes to show you, like, just how, like, ridiculous people are, like, in the Hollywood sector.
Yeah, Hollywood seems to not care about anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you go back and to, like, even though it's still, like, it's finally changing now, people are acting like it's been a watershed moment, but still, it's like it's nowhere near where it needs to be. And then even on top of that, like I think 2015, there was a movie based on the true story about a Hawaiian and Chinese pilot. They casted like a white woman as the the character.
Wow.
So it's like or even the Ghost in the Shell movie where it had that big fallout with Scar.
Yeah.
And like at first they had a good excuse for it when they were basically saying a robot doesn't have any race. So it's like it doesn't matter if she doesn't look that way because it's just a robotic shell.
Yes.
But then when you end up showing like that it was actually still a Japanese woman, she's going by the Japanese name and everything like that. Like at the was it at the end when it revealed like who her past life was?
I'd never seen Ghost in the Shell, the movie. Now I've seen the anime,
but it's like
anime a long time ago, like back in the '90s when it first came out. But
it just kind of it throws that whole excuse out of the window at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it could have been like it could have been Carbon. Well, what's that movie show called? Something Carbon on Netflix with Joel Kinnaman. Yeah, Ultra Carbon with Joel Kinnaman, where they keep transplanting consciousness from one body to another. So it could be like that, where you're Asian in one life, and then now you're Joel Kinnaman, who has no acting chops. At least it makes sense on that one. Because it's like don't even make that excuse or say that out loud if that's if that was your response to trying to push back on the blowback, but then you end up like all that goes out the window, so it was just lip service that meant nothing. And like until all the people like I'll flat out say to you that like I personally don't want the races of characters to constantly be changed to be ethnic roles. I know why they do it, because it's like instead of going the whole route of creating a brand new character, they're thinking the best way to get representation out there the fastest is to actually take a well-known popular character, change the race of that person, and that way you've already got them in the mouths of people who are watching and consuming the media, instead of actually trying to take an existing well-known black character and build them up or try to make a brand new one from scratch. So what you just said, let's take what you say and let's apply that to Superman and Michael B. Jordan, right?
Okay.
So, they would probably change Superman a little bit with Michael B. Jordan playing the role. He'd probably have the same origin, but a little bit different. You say you would rather have a more established character. How would you go about that?
I'm saying that I know that's the reason why they're doing it.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Michael B. Jordan play Icon.
Agreed.
I would be okay with him playing is it Earth 25 or Earth 23 Superman, Calvin. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind him playing the actual Black Superman either. But other than that, I don't want him to show up and his name's actually Clark Kent.
Wasn't Will Smith supposed to play Superman at one point too?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Beyonce was supposed to be Lois Lane.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's like so I know why they're doing this. I just wish they weren't. It's like I know people are gonna hate at black leads no matter what anyway. Like I feel that all you're doing is alienating an already soft-skinned audience as it is, and having them not even give a chance to actually like the product. Like a lot of people will say dumb shit like, well, they did it right with Miles, but a lot of people will actually forget that it took basically almost 3 to 5 years for people to actually start liking Miles. Like I was on the internet day in and day out arguing with motherfuckers talking about they made Spider-Man black. I was like, no, Miles is a completely different person. Peter Parker of the Ultimate Universe died, and Miles took over the mantle. Well, they still made Spider-Man black. I was like, a costume does not have a race.
like Green Lantern, you can have multiple Green Lanterns. You can have Stewart. You can have anybody. Play
exactly. I was like, there's been multiple people that's been Captain America, multiple people that's been Batman, multiple people that's been Robin. I was like, what in the hell, fucked you up so bad too. Because they, and I'm like, and it wasn't even the 616 Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And every time you get the same argument, the way they defeated the Black Panther was white. I was like, oh, like for one, in the same Ultimate Universe, Captain America, Steve Rogers, actually went around as Black Panther for a while. Yeah. And there was no outrage. We weren't crying over it. We weren't talking about you're ruining comics or anything like that. We were just like, oh, the story wasn't good, and we kind of put it to bed. But it's like every time, and by the way, like all you guys are listening to this, there's actually a whole lot more characters, black characters in Black Panther. Like you can like switch it up every now and again. You can say stuff like, well, what if Storm was casted white, or you could say like, what if Night Thrasher was casted white, or Luke Cage? I mean, there's actually more people than just Black Panther.
But isn't Storm white?
Actually, like
isn't Storm white? Looking at the way they color her comics now, isn't Storm white? Don't she got a light tan?
And Marauders, yeah, she is. She definitely is in Marauders.
Dark-skinned Storm is forever dead now.
Oh, you gotta see Bishop. They fucked him up too.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Bishop, they got both of them doing their whole bleaching cream treatment.
Oh goodness.
So yeah, I like fictional characters are completely different from actual historical characters that actually lived and breathed. Like that's much more of a huge slap in the face than casting than changing the ethnicity of a comic character ever will be, or a game character or a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Like I can understand like the purists out there who want their characters to look exactly like how the books and stuff that they came out there. But if you're going crazy and insane just because if it's the race was changed, then kick rocks. Like if the performance is horrible and everything like that, then yes, go off on it. But if it's a great movie and you can't get over that one aspect of a fictional character, like fuck off. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm gonna give some credit to John Campea, the John Campea show. He changed my ideology on it because I remember back in the day, man, when Clooney Man and O'Donnell Boy came out, and they had Batgirl in it, and you come to find out that Batgirl was Uncle Alfred's niece, and I'm like, what is this fucking bullshit? I was so heated, man, because they changed one little thing, and he was like, dude, it's an adaptation. Everything doesn't have to be exactly the same. All that matters is, was it a good story? Was it a good movie? And you got to look at it, and I look at all movies now from that standpoint, all adaptations that way. At that point, I'm like, yeah, it's good, or it's bad. If you want to take Superman and make him emo and depressive and whatever else you want to do, oh God, the world doesn't get me or understand me. My life is so horrible. That's fine. If you're going to give me some of the best Superman action sequences ever, I'm going to applaud your movie and say I love it. It's just the way it is.
Now, you always know my take on that has been, I'm okay if you change the origin. I'm okay if you take some loyalties with the character. But I like it if you actually keep it true to the character. Like, even if it doesn't look like the person, that doesn't really matter. As long as you keep it true to the character, and for example, I don't want to see an emo crying Superman.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the truth, justice, and American way, like everybody calls the boring Boy Scout. Yep. So if you could tell any story that's wrapped around that particular character, like you want to throw Danny DeVito in the Superman outfit, but tell me a good Superman story, I'll sit down and watch it. So like I don't. So that's the way I look at it. So like one of my biggest problems is, you already know, that I've always had with the X-Men stories, is that like I feel that some characters were spot on. Like I feel Hugh Jackman completely nailed Wolverine.
Despite being almost 6 feet tall.
Exactly. And a lot of people had beef with that about him becoming Wolverine, and then like now they can't see anybody else as Wolverine.
Yep.
So like my whole thing is like my beef that I had with X-Men though is that it wasn't all about the changing of certain origins or how people met or things of that nature, because like First Class to me is my favorite X-Men movie. and they completely changed the origin of First Class.
Correct.
But like, my beef is like, there's like tens of thousands of different mutants out there, and whenever Bryan Singer is doing doing his story, it seems like he just would throw, like, it seems like he would just see a character that he wants to use, and he would just give them any powers that he wanted just to make them fit to the script. Like, you could get like there's so many different mutants with so many different powers, you can actually use that exact character that you need to fill in that slot.
Like turning the leader, turning the leader of the Morlocks into a walking Cerebro.
Yes. Or whatever the hell it was that Kitty Pryde was doing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that was. So like things of that nature. Like, and it kind of came more into it was kind of more shown why his stuff was like that when Olivia Munn basically said that.
All you do is watch the cartoons.
Yeah, so it's like it kind of like, but I feel the cartoon actually had the characters down way more, were made more faithful to the those characters in the movies were. Yeah. So yeah, that's my beef. Like, if you want to so that, and my other beef is when you take a character and you tell a completely different story with that character that has nothing to do with that character whatsoever, but you're just using the name of that character to actually get asses in the seats. I can't stand that either. So like, if you're gonna have a movie coming out from Warner Brothers and you call it Superman, but it has nothing to do with a Kryptonian from the Last Son of Krypton, and it's like about some sort of like bionic man robot or something like that, that sort of thing pisses me off.
Gotcha.
So like, that's my main beefs, basically.
So back to Michael B. Jordan's Superman. You said you were rather see Icon. I agree with you 100%. In fact, in one of our old P3 podcasts, we actually had a discussion about this a while back and becoming Icon. I gave a history of Icon, the character. You should look at it. And in fact, you know what? Maybe I'll link that podcast right below so you can catch up on it and you can hear our thoughts on this. But I give a thought of this. So let's say you're a studio, right? And you're going to make a movie. Which one do you think is going to make more money? A Superman movie or an Icon movie?
Superman movie, no doubt.
Exactly. So that's why we want to see an Icon.
Yeah, even the people who that's why I will say once again, I understand why they would do it that way, even though I wish they weren't.
Yeah.
Because even the people who are like who are actually like having conniption fits and having like crybaby fits of even the fall of him being Superman, they'll still push the sales of that just so they can say that they hated it and it was the worst piece of shit they ever saw, stuff of that nature. So it's like it's going to drive up sales, whether it's going to be people who are fans of Jordan, people who want to see what he's going to do as the character out of curiosity, or people who flat out just hate that a black man is Clark. Like, it's going to push up sales from all three of those categories.
Now let's get into a little bit of the Warner Brothers stuff. Let's talk about Warner Brothers. But now Warner Brothers, unfortunately, has not had the best track record for their movies. And let's go into this. If they were smart, and clearly their history shows that they're not smart. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. But what you would do is, and I know people keep saying I don't want to hear shared universes. Warner Brothers has like 5 different universes going on. If you're smart, what you would do is, even though you are not going to make a Superman movie or one of those movies until later, Michael B. Jordan is kind of busy. What you would do is you would introduce this character in another movie. You would give people a little bit of a sample of who Icon is, what he does, and get people go, wow, that was a really cool action sequence. Wow, that character looks pretty interesting. Maybe I need to Google this Icon character and figure out who he is. Now, don't get me wrong, Icon's been in a lot of DC stuff, He's been in what was it, Young Justice. I think he had a small stint at the very end of Justice League, or maybe he was in one of the movies. I can't remember, you know. But I think Young Justice is probably the biggest cartoon that he's been in since, you know, I think DC took over those franchises. Do they still own that? I remember we had this conversation in the podcast. Does Warner Brothers still own Icon? They do, right?
It's sort of a deal with Milestone.
Yeah.
Like they were actually supposed to relaunch the whole Milestone line, but I think there's issues happening because Dwayne McDuffie's wife, who owns half of it, she wasn't actually consulted. It's like the other owners just went ahead and made the deal, and they didn't even approach her on it. So that's why the relaunch that was supposed to happen years ago didn't pop off.
Gotcha. So
I don't know how that works media wise though.
Okay. So that's what, if I was them, I would do it that way. So, but if you're DC, you got multiple movies, right, coming out. You got the Batman coming out, which is a new universe featuring Batman, the guy from Twilight, Robert Pattinson playing Batman. You have, and it has a whole bunch of villains in it. I guess it's going to deal with Arkham, and it's dealing with when your favorite stories. What's that story? Your favorite Batman stories with the mobsters?
Oh, the Long Halloween.
Yes. That's what I hear. Basically, it's supposed to be loosely based off of, but I guess they're going to mix that with like Arkham instead. So it's going to be loosely based off of that. I guess they're just going to change the settings of it. So you have that. You have Birds of Prey coming out. You have New Wonder Woman, which we'll see a trailer coming out actually on my brother's birthday on the 8th of December. And you have Shazam coming out in what, like a year or 2 years, I think. Mm-hmm. And Shazam 2, right? So yeah, Black Adam in a year or two, and Shazam 2, right? So you got a list of movies coming out under WB, and then you have the success of Joker, which is going to now force you to make sequels where really there shouldn't be any sequels. For anybody who saw that movie, it was open, and it was a story closed, shut, and let's be honest, there shouldn't be a sequel to that. Now, if you want to say, okay, let's create new villains within that world, sure, go ahead, have fun with it, you know. But these are anthologies, right? You shouldn't be telling and continuing stories, you know. Everything should be always different but in the same universe, right? So what's your how do you feel about Warner Brothers' current lineup of movies? What do you think they can improve on? What do you hope to see from it?
Like when people say the lines, like I've always felt the lines of like saying things like superhero fatigue and stuff like that is I always felt that it's a stupid trend and thing to say and hop on. Mm-hmm. I just feel when something has run its course, then it's run its course. Just like every other popular movie genre that's come before the current superhero craze.
Yep, like vampires back in 2000. Go ahead.
Yep. But when I think of Warner Brothers, I actually feel that like I'm like so exhausted with their properties. I can't get excited about anything that's not an animated property. Like it seems like the animation house knows how to knock it out of the park.
Yep.
Just like when you were bringing up the whole Icon thing earlier, like the way that he was introduced in the Young Justice, like that's the way you introduce characters in. Like you just don't throw a whole movie together with like a full feature-length movie with that stars all these characters, but there's been no build-up for any of them. Yeah. So like and it's like every time we turned around, like a movie that we're supposed to see, it even got canned or it keeps getting pushed back. Multiple directors being dropped, people stepping out. You don't even know if the same character will be played by the same actor by next year. And now it's like it would look like we're going into a new version of the DC universe, the DC movie universe. We're actually going to have like 2 of the original characters from the Snyder universe will still be around, but like we may have a possible different Cyborg. We may have a possible different Superman. And we're definitely gonna have a different Batman. I don't know if what's the actor's name? Robert Pattinson, is that it?
Yeah.
I don't know if his Batman will actually become part of will actually join up with Godot's Wonder Woman and
they're gonna be separate.
Flash, but yeah, and it's just like you have like all these different universes like floating around, and you can't seem to figure out if you want to do self-contained movies or if you want to do a shared universe. There's no path to it. You don't have an actual lineup. And then on top of that, the CW universe, which was doing just fine without you, they started fucking with their shit as well.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a shame that I see something like the Rock playing Black Adam, and I'm not like hyped as shit about it. I'm just thinking about all the ways that it could possibly get fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I feel currently about the WB movie model. I'm scared they're gonna fuck up the new Wonder Woman movie. I don't even know what to expect from the Batman movie now. I was hyped up when I heard of the director, and and a lot of people hate on Patterson because of Twilight, but I think dude has some major acting chops. So I was like, he's gonna probably bring a very he's probably gonna show a torn version of Bruce Wayne, showing you the mask that he puts on, pretending to be the millionaire playboy, and show how messed up he is, going from that to actually the actual Batman when he dons the cape. Kind of something that we got from kind of something close to still the best Batman in my opinion, Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking I'm getting out of this, but I don't even know, man. What's the Guardians of the Galaxy director?
James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn. I have all the faith in the world that he's going to do a great Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
But now it's like I don't even know. I'm like, this is from the same studio that hired a music video studio to edit their movie. So yeah. I don't. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So
actually, I'll admit to everybody watching or listening right now, I look to Khan to get me hyped about DC stuff. Wow. Like I'm so dead on it. Like Khan has to bring up the good points of what's happening and the actual potential for how good something can be. Where I'm like, okay, I see where you're going, but it's like I don't even look for their stuff in the news. Like I don't even follow it on Twitter. Like if Charlie from Amazing from awesome emergency awesome, if he does a video, I don't even click on him anymore. I don't even follow Collider when they're following DC news. Like Khan is my go-to DC guy right now.
Well, let me put a pin into your balloon, sir, by going down the list of movies and how I feel about it. Birds of Prey looks like an utter mess. The trailers have done nothing for me. The Fabulous, whatever, Harley Quinn, garbage. And it's not that I don't like Harley Quinn. It's just that the way the film is, the way the trailer looks itself, it just seems like a CW TV show. It doesn't seem like a movie. Wonder Woman 1984. I'm excited and I'm very scared. And the reason why I'm very scared is that movie was supposed to be out November of this year. It was done recording and finished production last year. So they've let it sit for a whole year. And they're not coming out with it until June 5th of 2021. 2020, right? So then we got the Batman. Sounds interesting. You got Matthew McConaughey playing Harvey Dent, and then in the sequel, Two-Face. So, you know me, I love Matthew McConaughey. I've been wanting him to do a comic book villain for a long time. Unfortunately, he had a chance to play a villain in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but turned that down for the Dark Tower. And yeah, we know how that went. That's why I think he's jumping on the first thing he gets a chance with. And let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. Matt Reeves is a good director, right? There was issues with the Planet Apes series, but overall, Planet Apes series was amazing. The technology was amazing. I liked the story. That's an opinion.
Same.
but I think he'll do an excellent job with the Batman. Next, we got Suicide Squad coming out in August 2021. Which is let's pause for a second. So you got the Batman, which is slated to come out June 25th, 2021, and you got Suicide Squad coming out 2 months later, August 6th, 2021. I think that's a bad decision. I think you need to move Batman up. I think Batman needs to come out.
It would make sense.
April, May, and you get Suicide Squad at the end of summer, because Black Adam's coming out during the holiday season, right? So that seems kind of, but yes, Suicide Squad. I have faith in James Gunn. That's probably one of the few movies on this docket that I'm like, yep, I have no problem with it. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Let's rock. And it's interesting that it's filming now, right? But it's coming out after the Batman, which is still in pre-production. Warner Brothers. Anyway. Next, December 22nd, 2021. And I honestly think this should be a November movie, but fine, you want to do it in December. December is usually owned by Star Wars, and now they're moving Avatar to December. I think Avatar comes out 2021, if I remember correctly. Either 2020 or 2021. I know it's December. If it's 2021, I think that's a bad move for Black Adam. The Rock does not want to go up against one of the number one movies of all time before comic book movies were a thing. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But Black Adam comes out the 22nd. They got him not fighting Shazam, and he is fighting, basically, I don't know if he's fighting, but the JSA is going to be in it. Stargirl. Let's be honest, I don't care about the JSA. I'm not gonna lie. In terms of comics, that was before my time. I don't care about the JSA, man. That's like my grandfather's comics. I don't care about that shit. So I don't care about them. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just the way I am. I'm not gonna lie. You know how young kids look at like certain movies are like, dude, it's a decade ago. That's ancient. I'm like that about certain comic characters, right? And then you got Aquaman 2 that's supposed to come out December 16, 2022. Who knows when that's ever going to be made? Jason Momoa, who knows? And then you have The Flash, which is TBA, because as you stated before, they've went through like 4 or 5 directors that have dropped. Mm-hmm. Now they're talking about recasting the actual Flash from Ezra Miller to somebody else. Yeah, I don't see Flash coming out anytime soon. But plenty of movies. You could throw Icon into any of those, right? You could put Black Adam as a period piece. You could put Icon into Black Adam as just as a side character.
One of the things I don't understand is that, like, all right, so Wonder Woman did pretty good.
Yep.
Aquaman did good.
Yep.
So it's like, let those movies sit where they are as good origin stories. Use those as the reboots of your cinematic universe. If you want to actually introduce a character by the second flick of Aquaman or by the second or third flick of Wonder Woman, go ahead and introduce another character then. But it's like, let that go ahead and be the start of your series as you're building up, if you still want to actually try to attempt to do a Justice League again.
See, like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And
why is that?
Because the Batman has to be the build of your new series, because Wonder Woman and Aquaman, even though they're successful in making money, they're all part of Zack Snyder. So the company wants to distance themselves from Zack Snyder, but they can't because they put all those past movies under Snyder's umbrella, and they were successful. How are you not going to make a Wonder Woman or an Aquaman? Aquaman was like one of the highest grossing movies, well, like second or third highest grossing movie for combo movies. How can you not make a sequel? You can't just automatically just say, oh yeah, now he's in this and he's not messing with this Batman, he's messing with a Batman 20 years younger.
That's the thing though. Like they already aren't making sense with the way that they're laying out their movie plan now. If they were actually to do like one of those big Comic-Con things and actually announce the new and announce the new timeline. Hell, even do one of those like fancy animated packages or something like that to show the new timeline and how it goes. Fans would just accept it. If they knew they were getting a cohesive story, then they were getting good creative ran things from here on out that actually that actually don't follow that actually will not be messed with by higher ups or suits that'll actually let the directors and the script writers and everything make the movies that they actually want to make. I think fans will be all for that if they know that a movie gets announced and it's actually going to come out on time and not be pushed back to 2 years later and like production hasn't even started yet. So I think they would be all for it. They'll just accept it.
Okay. I know this has been put out a lot of times. This is why I think you do. I think you deal with it like you do the TV universes, right? You say that each of these movies are in their own Earth, their own universes, and then you have all these movies going separately, making all the money that they want, and then you have a Infinity Crisis style event, and you just like the TV shows, and you just collapse them all into one.
Mm-hmm.
You could bring back old actors like you did in the TV stars. So you could have Henry Cavill reprise his role as Superman. You have the younger Superman. You could have all these old people reprise their roles, die off, whatever, and you collapse it all into one universe and you move on. That's what you do. That's what you do. What else are you going to do? You have 3 universes. You have the old DC Snyder universe. You have the new universe you're building with the Batman. So Birds of Prey, if I remember correctly, is I don't even know where Birds of Prey goes, because Birds of Prey is old school Snyder universe, but as far as I know, it's supposed to be, I think, interacting with Matt Reeves' Batman. So I'm confused by that.
Mm-hmm. You see?
And then you got Suicide Squad, which I think is still part of Birds of Prey, because I believe the ending of Birds of Prey is supposed to lead into Suicide Squad. Right, so that's her. After all this ish that happens with Harley Quinn, she goes back into Suicide Squad, and then you have the Batman, which is, like I said, it's its own universe. And you have Wonder Woman, Aquaman, who are in the same universe but not interacting with one another. You got Black Adam and Shazam, who are in the same universes but not acting with one another. And you have Joker and all the other sequels, which are in a totally different universe. So you have 3 universes. It's a cluster F, but right now all they're looking at is, hey, we're just going to take a movie at a time, and if we're making billions of dollars off of each movie like the Joker, then so be it. They don't need to be.
I have a question for you.
Oh God, go ahead.
Don't you feel fatigued?
No.
You don't.
I just.
You don't feel exhausted talking about that?
No. I want a good movie, man. I've seen Marvel stuff, right? If you want to say fatigue and stuff, maybe for Marvel, it's like, that's why I don't like with the Disney Plus universe and they're like all the TV shows. I'm like, for me, everybody's all excited. I don't care. I'll get to it when I get to it. It's not something like, oh my God, I can't wait, right? After Endgame, I'm good, man. I'm not rushing to the next Marvel movies. What's the next one? Eternals? I'm good, man. I'll see it when it comes out, but I'm not like, oh my God, I can't wait.
Excited by it.
Yeah, I'm not at that point.
I'm excited for Blade.
And I don't even care.
I do. I'm very excited for Blade.
I don't want to see PG.
Since it look like it's going to be.
I don't care for PG-13 Blade. I don't care for PG-13 Blade.
Sometimes I feel that PG-13 actually makes directors actually work harder. They go outside of the box.
Family friendly.
I mean, honestly, what are you gonna miss from Rated R Blade? Gore, nipples.
Yes, all of it.
Gore and nipples. That's
a different tone, a different adult tone to it, a more mature tone. Family. No, it's good family friendly, dude. It's family friendly. It's gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy friendly family friendly tone. I'm good, dude. I'm good.
We'll see.
But yeah, so like after Endgame, I'm good. I felt like that was the perfect ending to that long saga, and I won't get hyped for the new saga until I get in 3, 4 movies into the new saga, and I'm like, okay, this is where they're going. Okay, this is the new bad. This is what's happening. Okay, this is the new character, and then then you'll get back into the hype. But right now, it's like I busted my nut. I'm just recovering. It's time for me to take a nap, and then I'll wait for the next day, to get my shit wet again. That's just the way I look at it, and that's how I feel.
It's quite a metaphor.
Yes, but with Batman, I mean, with DC, it's like, hey oh, it's like it's ups and downs, right? Like you start to see like, oh, you're almost there, but you drop the ball again. So I'm waiting
When
for.
I see,
Yeah.
when I see the DC stuff, I see Fallout 76, and I see Bungie's Destiny when it was under Activision.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Like constant promises, constant fuck ups, lip service, not actually fixing things, fucking with the people who can actually fix your problems, like egos, too many chefs in the kitchen. That's the sort of shit that I feel that I get whenever I'm looking at DC. So like, and
so,
I just like everybody else, I want good DC movies. They've already shown they can make good DC movies when the suits actually step back and let people do what they're doing. So it's like and hell, even if you want to do this whole confusing jumble of 3 to 4 different universes, as long as you keep like allowing people to produce good content, I'm completely down for it. I don't have any faith that they're going to do that. Like there have been 3 different guys now who have tried to step in and pull a Feige, so to speak, and actually rein it in and have like one creative pathway for like everything to follow. Like you don't have anything like that. It really does feel a lot of the time like we're just gonna throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks. Sorry to beat a dead horse, but like even now I can't even I can't drum up any excitement for anything that they may possibly put out.
I hear you sound like Stadia customers right now. Segue. So Stadia has come out. That's your baby. You've been champion Stadia. Other people like Mega has been champion Cloud more so than Stadia, but Cloud. So Stadia has launched, and like a lot of consoles, the launch wasn't very good. A lot of people who pre-ordered their Stadias who didn't get it, they spent $130 to have it right then and there. They were getting delayed, and a lot of them were actually employees of Google. You got people who bought games, and then like 2 weeks later, those games are free in their paid services. It's people not getting 4K, and Stadia, of course, is blaming the developer, saying, hey, we're capable of 4K, but if you don't get 4K, then, that's more of a issue with the developers, and they need to fix it. Which is them pointing fingers. What's your take on Stadia itself?
I still think it's a good idea. I think that Microsoft's xCloud is actually handling it a whole lot better than Stadia is. And even though I've been interested in cloud gaming for quite some time, but I actually thought that Google with its mass resources, not that Microsoft doesn't have mass resources, but Google with its global reach, its mass resources, its how much it knows the internet, and how how many server farms they have all over the world. I thought that they would actually come out of the park swinging like with a product that was going to be hard for both xCloud and the revamped version of PlayStation Now to catch up to. But when they did their Google show, and then they did their E3 video, it flat out showed to me that not only was the product rushed, it also showed me that the people that they had in charge of this didn't know anything about games or the community they were pitching this to. Like, like for instance, like for instance, they could have easily came out the gate and said that, and gave somebody the small promise of, this is gonna be at least a 12-year commitment. So basically, anybody who buys into it, they'll know for at least that Google is going to be working on this for 12 years, that they're around for the long haul, that they're really invested to getting it right. But they can't even tell us, they can't even like promise you that they're going to have a commitment, and they're known for like killing off a lot of their apps and programs that they made. So that already put a bad taste in people's mouths.
Can I say something real quick about that? So if you're gonna commit to a 12-year thing, you can't come out of the gate at a $130 price tag plus a subscription fee plus an additional fee if you want to get 4K. You can't do that, man.
Sure you can. You just have to have good marketing.
Nah,
like you have to say,
nah,
as long as you like. Let me say it to you correctly.
No, you can't tell me, right, hey, give us $130 plus subscribe plus play for video games, and oh, you want it in 4K? Yeah, you got to pay an upsale charge for that.
Like I said, once again, let me say it to you correctly.
Don't worry, we'll give you that 4K sometime down the line within that 12 years. But keep paying us that $9.99 a month for it.
This is how it should have been marketed. They should have came out of the gate and it should have been like, all right, so we have the Founders Pack. The Founders Pack is for everybody who wants to jump in early, but it's an early access mode. So basically, like a lot of the features aren't going to be available at first. But what the Founder Pack gives you is what's going to be our day one watch $9.99 a month subscription mode, which is basically going to be like your Xbox Live or your PS Plus. You'll basically get 2 games free a month, and this model will actually allow you to do 4K streaming at 60 frames per second. Now, what else you get with the Founders Pack? Of course, you get the remote control. You get the Google Stadia controller, and you're allowed to invite and bring a friend for also, so they get the controller and they get the first 3 months for free as well before going into the $9.99 a month. If you don't want to be part of if you don't want to be an early founder, you don't want to be part of the early access model, then you can just wait to jump on when the $9.99 model launches, and if the subscription mode isn't for you, like you just want to actually try it out for free, in January 2020, we will be actually launching our free mode. So that will be actually like the Steam store and the Epic stores that you're used to, where you'll just be able to purchase your game. Now, we here at Google are actually committed to a 12 to 15 year cycle, which is the cycle of a normal console, to actually getting this right. So we're not going to pull the wool out from under you. So at least you'll know that we are fully committed to this project for at least 12 to 15 years. And then on top of that, if for any reason that our app dies, we will give you a downloadable code of the game. So games that you bought, you still will be able to play on your PC. We will not be responsible for any updates or anything of that game afterwards because the service will no longer exist. But you will get a code of that game in the absence that we do pull the plug. And you also will know that we are fully committed to at least one console cycle of making this work.
First off,
sounds much better, right?
It does sound better, but first off, nobody's going to commit to a 12-year plan. That would be just stupid. That would be just dumb. Number two, codes for games. Games die, man. How many games come out? They go into early access, whatever you want to call it. They get all their money, and then 2 to 3 years they're dead, removed. I mean, Dead by Daylight just had Death Garden that they tried to basically relaunch 3 times, and the game is dead, and they're closing down the servers. Hyper Universe dead. Brink dead. Not Brink. What was that one game I used to play where you would go into the dungeons? But the point is that games come and go, right? The longevity of games is
different
chaotic.
from a console, though.
It's chaotic.
My thing is, if you're gonna even travel into the waters of the shark, the sharks that is the gaming community, you're gonna have to be willing to take a company loss and actually feel that commitment out there if you want the actual trust of people who are already not wanting to trust you because one, you're Google, and two, because you're offering a streaming service over traditional gameplay, which a lot of gamers are already against in the first place. So that commitment needs to be part of your business model. Like, if you're not willing to go in with the fact that you might lose money and it's a long-term period, then you shouldn't step into it in the first place. Another thing I feel they should have done is actually filled it with people who actually know the gaming communities, know how to talk to gamers, and know what to look for.
They have Phil Harrison, former guy from Microsoft Xbox, who was pioneering their stuff. You have Phil Harrison, who has how many years running the Xbox division? Come on, man. They have somebody.
Let me reword. They need to have somebody like there's a certain guy who was super popular in the face of Sony who just got kicked to the curb by Sony. Well, maybe they throw some money his way.
You trying to get what's his face? Crooked Teeth.
Mr. Sean Layden.
I know. Yes, Sean Layden, yes.
So yeah, it's like you get this guy to come over. Not only do you automatically buy yourself buy yourself some loyalty amongst Sony fans who still associate his face with the brand. So you buy some loyalty there, and then you get a guy who really who really knows how to breathe hype into people watching the program about what they can expect from the platform. And then he also this is me assuming because I don't know, but I'm assuming he has tons of connections with third-party developers. So he probably could have brought a whole lot more third-party companies, stilled the waters and made them not so nervous about coming in to work for to develop games for Stadia. So that's
what you need to do is you need to do a Microsoft and Mixer, and you need to throw some money at Phil over in Microsoft, get him over to Stadia, and have him make all those partnerships.
No, don't do that, because Microsoft will die.
Because Phil is killing it over there. He's just killing it over.
Yo, I'm telling you, man. Matt Booty might be able to hold the ship going for a while longer, but both him and Phil leave. It's like Microsoft is going to die. Well, the gaming division will die within a year.
Yeah.
If even that.
So who's Stadia for, right? You keep saying console, but Stadia's not a console, right? Nothing about it is console. But
Stadia is
who is it marketed towards?
And that's another thing that they seem to fail to do, because everybody always keeps saying who's it marketed for? I don't understand it. So to me, cloud-based gaming is for people like myself who are either they cannot afford a high-end gaming rig, they cannot afford a mid-range gaming rig, and the computer that they have won't even play low-powered modern games in potato mode. So with so for example, if I jump on cloud gaming and you're playing Destiny, then I can play Destiny with you on my rig, and if it was working correctly, 4K at 60 frames per second. So I can play like I have a high-end rig, and I can play games with my friends who can also afford these type of machines.
Yeah, but the thing is,
I don't have to.
But in most markets, you have data caps, right? And Stadia just gobbles up bandwidth. They're advertising 35 megabits per second, all you need is 10 megabits per second down, and you're good. When other people were doing tests, they're looking at Stadia, and it's gobbling 400 to 500 megabits per second. So that alone is going to kill your cap. If you got let's say you have a 50 gig cap, or let's even just say you have a 500 gig cap, you're going to suck that up in about 2 weeks, man.
I have an idea for that as well. I was talking to I was talking to my wife about that, and I had an idea about that also. And I was saying to her is like, if I were running that division, I would personally go to IP providers, and I will offer them a cut of the subscription fees, with a guaranteed a guaranteed fallback. So if the subscription fees don't meet the amount that they want, they'll still get a certain amount from me to cover the other end. So that way they don't actually cap those speeds against their internet service, and they can even actually come out looking like the good guys, basically saying that they're not going to they don't cap your speeds when using this particular game service.
So when
So the IP provider actually comes out looking like a good guy. They're actually going to get money on the back end from subscription servers to actually cover the amount of bandwidth that they're going to have to use to actually keep up with services like Stadia. So I think that would be my idea to try to tackle it anyway.
So let's all right. So I have a little bit of an idea on this kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go into it, but let's just say I do, right? I do. Trust me, people. Without giving them too much away, I know a little bit about this stuff. So when you look at the internet, right, and what you travel, right, the speeds that people get are not needed in the internet, right? So let's see, even if you do 10 megabits per second, even if you got a 500 megabits per second pipe, right? You're browsing the internet, you're looking at a video, you're not going to use that much, right? The bit rates of Netflix are usually I think go as high as maybe 35 megabits per second, right? So as a person, you're not going to use that much of a pipe. So even though you may get like a gig service or 500 megabits, for the most part, you're going to only use about 10% of that, right? At a given time. Outside of maybe doing a speed test, you're never going to, or if you're uploading or downloading something like files, storage, torrent, whatever, you're not going to see that use of that cap, right? So from a provider standpoint, you can have a whole bunch of people, because you know what, that pipe will never be filled, because at the most a person's going to be doing is about 35, right? Average person, right? But if you go in senior places, they're doing like 1 megabit, 5 megabits per second, right? Because they're all thing they're doing sending email. So nobody's using that pipe. So now here comes Stadia, right? And you're telling me, hey, I should be used to, most of my people are going to start sucking up 300 to 500 megabits, even though you're advertising 35. You're doing 1,000 times that, and you got multiple people. Now what happens is now you start to see congestion in that pipe. That traffic starts to get kind of filled, right? So before you have motorcycles and bikes going down that highway, now you got tanks and Hummers, and now they're taking up more and more of that space, and you're running into an issue. So I hear what you're saying. It's something that's going to, our technology, like I said before, our technology is going to have to change a little bit. We're going to have to be able to adapt now to a point where internet itself isn't as small anymore, and it's now expanding. So I don't know if they do better by just doing compression. Maybe Google does better compression on their standpoint, and they shrink down whatever they're sending out, because that's what Netflix did. Netflix was huge. They got a better compression for their video that gives you pretty much the same service, the same fidelity, but at a smaller frame rate, bandwidth consumption. So now, your bandwidth's a lot smaller than what it is. That's how it all works, So I'm guessing that's something that Google Stadia is going to have to do, because, dude, sucking up 500 megabits per second. 500 megabits per second. 500 megabits per second. And you're running that for hours? Nah, man. I don't think many ISPs are going to enjoy that. They're going to have to. It's going to get to a point where they're going to have to start dedicating like 100 customers to one line, where before you're doing thousands, if not close to millions, like hundreds of thousands of people in a line. Now you're dedicating 100. No one's going to have. That's a lot of money. Now, don't get me wrong. We have a lot of old technology here in the States that could be changed, but that costs money.
So are you saying that if the infrastructure was up to par, then you feel that stuff like this would actually be capable and easy to
Oh
pull
yeah,
off.
definitely. That was always my argument. My argument with cloud is it's not so much just that the technology is outdated; it's that we have an older system, right? If you look at other countries and the way they deliver services, like look at Romania, dude. They have like the number top 3 or 5 quickest internet in the world because their whole infrastructure was built ground up, fiber, all of it. Is they have they get like a gig down as normal service, gig down, gig up as normal service, right? We're coming from an age where we were still delivering stuff via telephone lines, you know. So I don't know if moving to a 5G is the best thing to do, for this, where now everything is communicated through Wi-Fi, but then you got a whole bunch of problems with people being on the same frequency, traffic, screwing up stuff. It's a lot of stuff that goes into that, with signals and getting interference and degrading the signal, which then therefore degrades the quality and the strength. It's a lot of stuff you got to look into with that. But I'm not sure. I think that in a couple of years we got to do it, but I think it has to be something that has to be mandated by the government. And I think the government has to offer programs, You got a lot of ISPs, right? Google was putting out fiber everywhere, and they stopped because guess what? It's fucking expensive as fuck. It is. I mean, they're like, oh yeah, Google fiber or whatever their thing was going out, and then they just shut it down. Another thing that Google shuts down, but it's because it costs so much money. If the government wants to upgrade our infrastructure, they have to, of course, give these big companies, something to convince them to do it. So. But yeah, man, good talk. We're about the hour 30-minute mark, so I guess we could wrap this up, man. I think this was a fun episode of Shoot the Shit, man.
Yeah, it was nice to be back doing the podcast thing again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll try to make this weekly, schedule permitting. But welcome, sir, to the first welcome to the No Video family. This is the second video. We'll be transferring me and my wife's video of Joker review, and then I think me and her have I think we're going to be reviewing the end of Titans, and then we're going to do some anime stuff, and then probably might do a little bit of Mandalorian too. We don't know, but yeah, definitely, man. This is good. More shows. So this is just the start of the No. Do you think you'll be around for the conspiracy corner, sir? Where we break down some of the,
I think it's gonna be fun. Yes. I think you need to invite Payne into that. That's his stomping grounds.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear him on it.
Well, I'll definitely send out an invite to him so that we can start looking at conspiracies, and then also with my brother, we're starting to do a web series, which will look into slashers. Something that me and him both like, try to figure out who the killer is. So yeah, we got a lot of good plans for this going forward. Right now we're doing the basis of the stories and planning out each episodes, and then once we get the script and everything done, then I'll start recording probably all of them or most of them, and then we'll start releasing them. So
sounds good to me.
Yep. So so thank you, sir. So we're at the part now.
No problem.
Give up all your social stuff. I'll pop it up on the screen since this video will be coming to YouTube. A little bit different than our P3, which used a lot of the podcast stuff. I might move it out to podcast only version. Maybe we'll do both. We'll see. But yeah. So right now, sir, go ahead. Give your where people can find you.
Yeah, it's basically Bitsaki, and you can find me anywhere on Instagram, Twitter. Anywhere where you do any sort of social media, you can find me on that. I do want to say one thing to the audience.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right. So, from the words I'm about to say to you, don't look at it as me being like a stupid leftist libtard or any of that dumb shit. Just think about it like this. A lot of you, some of you younger, some of you not, you were groomed into a way of thinking that if a movie has anything about politics in it, then it is social justice warrior pain. It's not very true. Like most movies, as far back as you go, like the person who's actually, unless it's a popcorn flick, and even in popcorn flicks, the director is actually trying to express some sort of form or message in their movie. Like no matter what optics they change to actually get the message out, a lot of the times, if you even go back and look at the DVD notes or go back and look at interviews with the director or the scriptwriters, they're basically trying to convey the way they feel about a certain event that's going on in the world at that time. Mm-hmm. So like you were basically, a lot of you guys like don't even know it, and like you were basically groomed by miserable people to actually feel, to actually hate anything different than what you were used to. So it's like don't and I'm not even saying that you have to like any movie with a lead role with a person of color or a different gender as a lead role or anything that actually has a political message about it. Just basically give the movie a chance first. Like go into it with open eyes, look at the story, judge it on the story, the acting, the camera work. Look at it as an actual movie. Don't look at it on your personal taste of what people have actually pushed you up to actually feel disgusted by any time it's brought up to you. And yeah, that's basically it. And you already got all my social media, so you can come and like call me any type of name you want. I really don't care.
Gee. Thank you, sir. So,
no problem.
For the show, currently there's no social or anything. That's stuff that will come later on down the line. Right now, if you found this, you have our YouTube link. Just make sure you click that bell and hit that subscribe button to stay alert to whenever we post. That's the important thing, and that's probably the best way to contact us is via the YouTube. So yeah, we'll definitely be there. But if you want to contact me, Khan, there's multiple ways you could do so. You can always look at me on the Twitch.tv, where I always stream, usually Monday through Friday, between 10 and 12 a.m., 10 p.m., 12 a.m. Eastern time. And that is at A as in Apple, R-G-N. A-R-G-N. So that's where you can find me. And if you want to find me on Twitter, then sure. You know what? You could hit me on my personal one where I do a lot of political bitching, and that's Mobies, M-O-E-B-E-S. And you might be questioning why is your Twitter at Mobies? It's because I didn't care for Twitter when I first made it, and I didn't want nobody to understand and be looking me up and typing me with stupid bull. And I never used Twitter until, well, maybe 10 years after the fact. So yeah, so you can find me at Mobies, M-O-E-B-E-S. So thank you everybody for coming in. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Always too, look at our older stuff. I'll give you a link down below to the Predatory Podcast sound. Where were we on? What was the name of that? Wooshka?
Wooshka.
Yeah.
We're also on Spotify as well.
Yeah, so I'll put some links below to those, so that way you can listen to us talk about Michael B and all that stuff. And if you love the P3 podcast, please let us know in the comments below, man. We hit us up on our P3 podcast Twitter. Ask for us to come back, please.
Yeah.
And GNS, we love you, brother. Please come back. Yeah. Let us all come back and do it together. Let us all do it. I'm not saying, don't think I'm saying that GNS is the issue. No, it's not the issue. It's just that I have no way of contacting the guy. He's so busy doing other stuff. I need to know. It's this thing that it takes 3 people, man. Trying to coordinate the schedule with 3 people is just annoying. One person, with Shoot the Shit, I could do it solo. I could do it with Two Beers. I could do it with GNS. I could do it with my wife. I could do it with anybody. I could have 10 people, one person. It don't matter. You know, this is my podcast to do whatever the hell I want to do, say whatever the hell I want to say. You know, like the president in the Oval Office, who says whatever he wants to say. But we could get political, no matter whether you're Republican or a Democrat You know, it don't matter. A liberal or conservative, it don't matter. This country is going to hell in a handbasket, and we need a change. We need a shock to the system. We need to stop looking at old ideologies, and we need to move to something new. I'm not saying that it has to be socialism, but shit has to change. And we as a people need to stop being so fucking selfish and thinking about ourselves and our families, and that's it. No. This is better. This is bigger than everybody, dude. We need to look at everybody equally. We need better for everybody, because guess what, you may have a job now, you may not care about fucking medical bills and so forth, and Joe Schmo who's not working, who happens to be homeless, or Wendy who just seems to be getting nothing but checks from the government. You could look down to all these little things, these hand-me-outs and everything else, but guess what, you never know when you're in that situation. And you never know when your opinion that might have ended something that might help you, stay on your toes for just a little bit longer, you got rid of. Don't look so down on people who aren't as, who don't have the same benefits, the same chances as you. It may not be because they're not hard workers. It may not be because they're lazy. It may be because they never got the opportunity. Keep that in mind, people. We're all different. We all do things differently. But sometimes, some people get more of a push than others. It happens, this life. We judge by what we see, what we smell, what we hear. And sometimes that goes past reason. And that's a problem. So I leave you all with this one thing before we go. Just try to be better. That's it. Simple as that. Just try to be a better human being. And stop being such a selfish asshole. All right, folks, on a higher note. Anything else you want to say, man, before we cut this out?
Nope.
I'm tired of yelling at people. I know they're not going to be, a lot of them aren't going to be better, but hopefully if I could change one child, one kid, one adult's mindset, then you know what? I won. I'm happy. That's the way I look at it.
Indeed.
All right, sir. Well, it was always fun shooting the shit with you.
Word.
Welcome to the know, and until we meet again, like I said, hit that subscribe button. Remember, we don't have an outro phrase. We gotta come up with a good outro phrase. We'll come up with one next time. And also differently than the podcast, we may start adding cameras. Let us know if you want to see cameras, what you want to change. Tell us all that shit. We may listen, we may not listen, because it is what it is. We may not know nothing. We may have an opinion on everything, and we may just shoot the shit. But it don't matter. We love you, whether you hate us or not. Peace out, everybody.
Later.